Mode.
Well, hello everyone. I want to welcome you to this Doobly webcast. My name is Alan Breen. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. Now today we've got a special webcast for you, and we've got a special guest, Alex Petrolak, who's the CMO for the partner program at Doobly. Alex, how are you doing today?
Doing well, Alan. Hello, everybody. How are you?
Well, Alex, first of all, let me just tell you, I know this is a Saturday for you. This is your off day. This is your weekend. So we really do appreciate you taking the time to come on the call and kind of really help us to have a better understanding of what the partner program is and what we can do with it, and really the significance that it's going to play to the Doobly success.
Alan, there is no off day.
Well,
you and I have worked together on too many things. We both know there's no off day.
Well, I also know this. I can say this, and I'm sure I'm correct. You must be the busiest person at Doobly, and if you're not yet, you will be very soon.
I'm getting there. But there you go.
Yep. Well, let me kind of tell everybody what we're going to do this morning. Alex is here to talk about the partner program, to answer some of the basic questions, because if you're new to the partner program, first of all, let me just say this about the partner program. Now, it's my personal belief, and Alex can, of course, either repudiate this or agree with it. That's up to him. But it's my personal belief that, 4 or 5 years down from now, the partner program will probably be bringing in about 90, maybe as much as 95% of the income that's coming into Doobly. And it's really the most significant program I've ever seen in terms of fundraising, because it's made it easier than ever before for organizations, whether they be profit or nonprofits, to raise money. So here's what we want to do today. I'm going to do a 15-minute overview because I want to kind of put things in perspective, and I know we've got some new guests on the call, and we want to cover Alex, I'm going to mute you because there's a lot of background noise here. I'll unmute you. That's okay. I'll unmute you when we're ready to bring you back in. But we'll go through the 15-minute overview. Then I'm going to bring Alex in, and he's going to answer some of the basic questions. And if any of you have any burning questions that you need to understand about the partner program, I've already submitted some of the questions that were sent to me previous to the meeting this morning. But if you've got some burning questions that you need answered, feel free to type them in, and if I think that they're good for this call, I'll go ahead and add that to what we do with Alex. But let me go through the 15-minute presentation, then we'll bring Alex in, and after we've done that, we'll take about a 5-minute break, and then I'll go through the training. And I want to spend a lot of time this morning talking about the TLA program, the TLA package, because that's really what allows us all to go out to do the partner program. Now, just because we have the partner program doesn't mean that you should absolutely do this. You've got to decide if this fits into your personality, if it fits into your sphere of influence, because you don't want to just go to any organization if you don't have a good contact inside that organization, or you don't know somebody that has a very strong contact inside that organization. Otherwise, you're just going to spend a lot of time trying to climb the ladder to get to the person that's ultimately going to make that decision. So let's go ahead and jump into the presentation here. It's been real interesting with me. I've been with Doobly now for almost 5 years. And one of the things that I've realized with Doobly is it's absolutely the perfect business model. I mean, it's just perfect for anybody. And I don't care if you're a stay-at-home mom and you just want to earn maybe $300 to $500 a month. It's the perfect business model for you. Or perhaps you're a busy professional and you don't have time to really engage in Doobly in a very active daily basis, but you would like to participate in a passive manner. Doobly's the perfect business model for you. Or maybe you're a serious entrepreneur who would really like to make $100,000 a month or more. It's the perfect business model for you. And now, not only for us as individuals, Doobly is also the perfect business model for any organization, whether it be a for-profit or a non-profit organization, that wants to raise money, because raising money has never been easier than it is with Doobly. And the reason for all this, because it's really hard to understand, why would one shoe fit all sizes? And it's simply because Doobly now offers the strongest product that's ever been presented to the average consumer. They've never seen anything like this. And we'll talk about some examples of that and what I mean by that. So what is the Doobly product offering? Well, the beauty of Doobly really is the fact that we don't have a product. We simply say to the average consumer, you come into the Doobly portal, and if you go through the travel portal inside of Doobly, you're going to get paid to travel. If you go into the shopping portal with over 2,600 merchants, over 56 million products, everybody's in there except for Amazon and eBay. And the truth of the matter is Amazon used to be in there, but they weren't paying their affiliate fees, and so we kicked them out. But I have no doubt that they'll be back eventually. But the bottom line is for the consumer, and we're all consumers, you get paid to buy all the same brand name products that you were going to buy anyway from all the same brand name merchants. Same thing with the entertainment. You go through the Doobly Entertainment portal, you're going to get paid to listen to your ebooks, your audiobooks. You're going to get paid to watch your favorite movies, your favorite TV shows through Netflix. You're going to get paid to listen to your favorite satellite radio stations through SiriusXM Radio. You're even going to get paid to go rent your favorite movies through Redbox. So in other words, as a consumer, you do all the same things that you were going to do anyway, but if you just go through the Doobly portal, you're going to get paid to do what you were going to do anyway. It is the perfect product for the average consumer because it allows them to get paid for everything that they were going to do anyway. And what I love about Doobly, two things. Number one, we don't have a product. And number two, we're not trying to change the buying habits of the consumers at all. That's the real strength of Doobly, is the fact that we're not trying to change the buying habits. We're not trying to get the consumers to buy products that they don't already buy. We're not trying to get them to change who they buy from. We're simply saying, do everything that you do now, but just go through Doobly first, and you'll get paid to do everything you were going to do anyway. And that's the beauty of it. So what happens with all of this is the backbone of your success. The backbone of the success for Doobly is, in fact, the VIP customer. And we'll spend a lot of time this morning talking about the VIP customer because that's what this is all about. That's what everybody sees. And to give you an example of the significance of this, I was doing a presentation with a nonprofit hospital up in Tennessee last week. We had the president of the foundation in the room with us. We had the president of the human resources department in there. We had the president of one of the other divisions of the hospital. There were about 8 people in the boardroom. I got about a third of the way through the presentation, and the senior executive in the room, which was Jennifer, who was the president of the foundation, which raises all the money for the hospital because it was a nonprofit. She looked at me. She said, "Well, Alan, everybody's going to want to do this." And I said, "Well, yeah, I agree with that." And the next question out of her mouth, or the next thing she said to me was, "Well, we want exclusivity in Chattanooga." I wasn't supposed to say city, but anyway. And I said, "Well, I can't do that for you." And then the next question out of her mouth was, "Well, how many organizations know about this in Chattanooga?" And I said, "None. You're it. We brought it to you first because of our relationship with Gene Payne." But the point I'm trying to get across here is I don't care who you're talking to. I don't care if it's the president of the foundation. I don't care if it's maybe a high school football coach or a high school wrestling coach, whatever the case may be. The first thing you want to do with anybody is make sure they understand the value to the average consumer because that's the key to the success with Doobly. Now, as a consumer, you can join Doobly for free. If you just want to kick the tires and you don't want to spend any money, you don't want to commit yourself to Doobly, you don't even have to give them your phone number. You don't have to give them a credit card. You don't have to give them a street address. All you have to do is give them your name and an email address, and you can start getting paid cash back on everything you were going to do anyway. And then, of course, we have the premium membership, which is $4.95 a month. You get all the same benefits that the free customers get, but in addition to that, we're going to give you an extra 3 gigabytes of cloud storage. We're going to give you a free MasterCard debit card from Doobly. The only caveat here is you have to wait 90 days to get that credit card. And then above that, we're going to pay you, in addition to the cash back that the free customer receives, as a premium customer, you will also receive, in addition to that free cash back, an extra 4% cash back, but it's paid on an annual basis. You can see it collecting. You can see all the purchases you've made because we have what we call a Doobly Cash Organizer, which will every customer gets for free, and you can keep track of all the purchases. You can keep track of all the cash back that's being paid to you. But as a premium customer, you have to wait till the end of your annual membership to collect it. But the real membership that pays, and we've all heard this saying from American Express and the old ads that used to say membership has its privileges. Well, with Doobly, the VIP membership absolutely has its privileges. Because here's what happens. You get all the same benefits that the free customers and the premium customers get, But instead of getting 4% cash back that you have to wait on an annual basis to receive, you get paid on a monthly basis an extra 6% cash back in addition to the free cash back. You also get 100 gigabytes of cloud storage. You get a free MasterCard debit card immediately. And perhaps more important than anything, or just as important as some of this, is the fact that you also have access to the customer referral program. Now, we're all familiar with Groupon. Now, Groupon, whether you know this or not, Groupon grew faster than any company in history in North America. They went from $0 to $1 billion faster than any company in the history of the U.S. Now, they did it in about 2.5 years. And during that time span, they also went from 30,000 customers to 84 million. Now, that's what you call growing at the speed of the Internet. But here's what they did. They allowed the consumers to join for free, so they removed all the barriers to entry. And then in addition to that, they paid the consumer. If you could join for free, but if you told one of your friends about it and they joined Groupon, Groupon would pay you $10 in Groupon bucks. But the thing you have to recognize is it wasn't real money, because the only thing that you could do with that $10, you had to buy another coupon, or you had to spend it on another coupon that came from Groupon. In other words, you couldn't take the money outside of the system because it wasn't real money. And think about this. How many times have you gone to a great movie and the next day you run into somebody at Starbucks, or maybe you want to run into one of your colleagues at work when you first walk in and you say, oh gosh, my wife and I went to see this movie last night. It was fantastic. You've got to go see it. Well, how much did Paramount, how much did MGM, how much did Warner Brothers pay you to tell them? And the answer is they didn't pay you anything. And Groupon's giving you $10 in Groupon bucks, but it's not real money. Well, what Doobly does is they'll pay you $20 in cash, and you can even take this cash, because it's real money. You can take it and put it on your free MasterCard debit card. You can walk right down to the local ATM machine, and you can pull the cash off the card if you want to do that. Or you can put it on the card and go back into the Doobly Mall, use that free money, buy something else, all the necessities of life that you need, and you're going to get cash back on that as well. And it's an annual membership fee of $99 per year. It's an incredible membership, or it's really an incredible value for the consumer. And it's the one that really pays the consumer. So the bottom line is the consumers come to the Doobly portal, and they get paid to travel. They get paid to shop. They get, Doobly will go in and negotiate these special weekly deals with the top merchants in the mall. And remember, there's well over 2,600 merchants in the mall today. They're adding new merchants every single day. And that number is continuing to grow in a pretty rapid pace. But they'll also get instant deals, instant coupons that are exclusive to Doobly. Now, for example, when we first launched the travel portal, I was really astonished at the cash back that we were paying the consumers. And when we originally launched it, and this was back in February of this year, 7 months ago, we launched it with Priceline. Now, I don't know if you know this about Priceline, but Priceline has 3,000 partners on a global basis. Anybody can be an affiliate with Priceline, but you have to have some moxie to be a partner with Priceline. Well, Doobly, because of Becky Carler, actually, was able to go to Priceline, and we convinced them right out of the, or I should say, Becky convinced them right out of the gate that Doobly was, in fact, the next game changer. And because of that, they're giving us the highest amount of cash back, or the highest commission they give anybody of all their 3,000 partners, and they gave it to us right out of the gate. As a matter of fact, after about 4.5 months, the president of Priceline called Michael Hansen up, the CEO and founder of Doobly, and said, Michael, I don't know what you guys are doing, but y'all have gone from the 3,001st partner to the number 8 partner in less than 4.5 months in terms of the number of customers you're bringing to us. And according to Eric Nelson, he was telling me the story, and actually Alex was in the room with us, and he said, well, Michael was telling me, Alan, that it was all he could do not to laugh at the guy because he had no idea what was about to hit him. So you can go to Doobly. You can go to the travel portal. You can go to Expedia, Orbitz, Travelocity, eBookers, Priceline. You can go to any one of the online travel agencies that you're accustomed to going through, but if you just go through Doobly first, you're going to get paid cash back in addition to the great rates you get through these companies. For example, if you go to Priceline, get your hotel, you're going to earn 14% cash back in addition to the great rate you're going to get on that room. Same thing with the car rentals. And I don't care whether you go to Avis, Hertz, National, Alamo, it doesn't matter. If you go through Priceline, you're going to earn 13% cash back if you're a VIP customer, in addition to the great rate you're going to get on that car rental. So not only do you get paid for shopping and traveling, you also get paid to shop in the mall. You get paid to buy all the things in your life that you need, and it's not like Groupon where you might get this, you might get a great deal, but it's not something that you need, but maybe you only need it once a month or once a quarter, or maybe just once a year. But Doobly gives you all the necessities of life, because I don't care whether it's diapers, organic honey, organic oatmeal, or a trip, it doesn't matter. You can get everything that you need through Doobly, and you can get paid for buying all you're going to buy anyway. You go into the Doobly Mall, you'll see the best deals. And you can see the free customers, in this example is ShopNow, they earn 2% cash back as a free customer. If you're a premium customer, you get the extra 4%, which gets you to 6%. But if you're a VIP customer, you get the extra 6% in addition to the 2%, which puts you at 8%. And you can see the variations here. I mean, look, here's 1928 jewelry. The free customer gets 9.8% cash back just for doing what they were going to do anyway as a free customer. 1-800-Flowers, you can't see that, but it's 17% cash back to the VIP customer. Hills.com, I believe the free customer is 11% cash back. Now, women love to get deals like this. And then, of course, we have the new stores. We have the featured coupons and promotions. Doobly even really starts delivering to you coupons that are tailored to you based on the things that you buy as you build up your relationship with Doobly. Now, one of the things that I love about this, and this is what really caught the attention of the hospital I was talking to up in Tennessee. I was showing him this. Now, this is Doug Hall's back office. He's a good friend of mine. He's, as a matter of fact, he's a sales director on my front line, but he's also a VIP customer. Look at the date on this. This represents a snapshot of Doug's life for 8 days, May the 4th through May the 11th. That's 8 days. Well, let's just call it a week. Now, he had to go to Best Buy that week, and I think he told me he was buying some cords or something for his laptop. And then he had to buy some flowers for his mother-in-law and his granddaughter. And he and his wife are working on a renovation on their house. Matter of fact, they're over there at their house painting today. And I don't wish that on anybody. Only thing worse than having to do that is probably move. And then he had to take a trip that week, so he went through Doobly, went to Priceline, got his hotel, his car, and his airfare. But look what happened. If Doug had only been a free customer, this column right here that says the regular cashback, this represents the cashback that the free customer would receive for doing everything with the same merchants that they were going to do anyway. And if you add this up, that's $35.39. Now, what this means is if the customer had gone direct, or let's say Doug, if Doug had gone directly to Best Buy and just bypassed Doobly, if he'd gone directly to 1-800-Flowers and bypassed Doobly, if he'd gone to Home Depot directly and bypassed Doobly, or if he'd gone to Priceline directly and bypassed Doobly, Doug would have left that $35.39 sitting on the table. In other words, it would be sitting in the bank accounts of those merchants. It wouldn't be sitting in Doug's bank account. Because Doug did go through Doobly, those merchants paid him to buy what he was going to buy anyway, even though these are the same merchants he'd been using in the past. Now, if you look at this column right here, it says membership cashback. This is the extra 6% cashback that Doug receives because he's a VIP customer. And if you add this up, that's another $50.80. Well, add the two together, we're talking about $86.19 in 1 week of Doug's life. Just a snapshot. Doug wasn't doing anything extraordinary that week. But watch this. Doug's annual membership, if he remembers the VIP, is $99 a year. He's pretty much paid for it in 8 days. If Doug were to do this every week for the rest of the year, he would receive $4,481.88 on a membership that only cost him $99. And that's why Jennifer, who was president of the foundation at the hospital, said to me, Alan, everybody's going to want to do this. And she's absolutely correct. Because when consumers see this, it becomes a no-brainer very quickly as soon as they understand what's happening. And the great thing I love about this business, when you're trying to build your Doobly business, you don't sell anything. Matter of fact, if you try to sell it or you try to complicate it, you're going to shoot yourself in the foot. This is the easiest business I've ever seen in my life because all I have to do is become a great VIP customer, use it because it's to my benefit to use it, and all I have to do is open up my back office and show it to people. And I'm going to talk about some of the examples with that in just a few minutes. Well, here's one right here. I was talking to Suzanne. Now, Suzanne, we went to first grade together. We've known each other for 54 years. So I'm giving away my age here. But anyway, I was talking to Suzanne one day, and she hadn't seen anything about Doobly, and she's a flight stewardess with Delta. And so I said, Suzanne, let's assume that you don't live in Atlanta, and you wanted to come visit, and you wanted to stay at the Atlanta Marriott Northwest. Well, you've got a couple of choices. You can go directly to Priceline.com, and you're going to get a great rate of $169 a night through Priceline at the Atlanta Marriott Northwest. Now, normally this room would cost you $220 per night. And I said, now, Suzanne, you can do that, or if you're a VIP customer at Doobly and you go through Priceline, you're going to get the same hotel, the same dates, the same rate, $169 for each one of them. But here's the difference. Because you're a VIP customer at Doobly, you still went through Priceline, but you're going to get $23.66 cash back each night that you stay at that hotel. That's the 14% cash back that you get from Doobly, just because you're a VIP customer. And she said, okay, I get it, I'm in. And in less than 10 minutes, she agreed to be a VIP customer, and she signed up right there on the spot. Now, I'm not trying to suggest to you that every customer you talk to is going to be that easy, but because, you know, Suzanne and I have known each other for a long time, there's a trust factor already built up right there. She knows I'm not going to try to lead her down a bad path, and so she got it. It made perfect sense to her. I mean, it's really just a no-brainer to the consumer. Now, what's happening this year, and hopefully we'll have this in the next month or so, what will happen, you know, I love to tell people all the time that, you know, we're not trying to change the buying habits of the consumers at all. And that's about 99% accurate, because the truth of the matter is what a customer has to do today is you've got to go to Doobly, you've got to log into your account, you've got to go to the Doobly Mall, and then you have to find the merchant that you want to buy from, and you launch that merchant from the Doobly Mall, and that allows the cookies to follow you so that you get paid the cash back. And so that, you know, maybe takes 25 seconds to do this. But you are doing a few extra steps that you don't normally do. Well, what most people do today, probably over 80% of the people on the internet today, they go to Google. Now, this happens to be Google over in Germany, just because we've got an office over there that made this slide for us. But now what's going to happen is you'll go to Google.com, and let's say you're looking for a product, and it pulls up Zalando. Well, you're going to go to Zalando just like you would. You'll click on that link in Google. It'll take you to Zalando, but you'll see this extra row up here, and it says Doobly, get up to 9.8% cash back. And you'll see this little blue button over here that says Activate Cash Back. So now all the consumer has to do that's different, the only thing they have to do that's different, is push on this little blue button that says Activate Cash Back. And when they do that, it says Cash Back activated, and they buy the product just like they were going to anyway. This takes less than a second for the consumer to do it. But more importantly than that, what consumer in their right mind, I mean, really think about this. What consumer in their right mind is going to come over here and close this down? No, I don't want that free cash. Heck with it. I don't need it. Nobody's going to do that. As a matter of fact, when I was talking to Lou Esposito at the Red Cross, she said, Alan, you'd have to be stupid to do that. And so she and I kind of dubbed it the stupid button. And the truth is, why would anybody do it? And they're not going to, because they don't want to give up the cash back. We even have done a deal with Netflix. And yes, we're going to pay our consumers to watch their favorite movies at Netflix. We pay our consumers to watch their favorite movies through Redbox. We pay our consumers to listen to their favorite satellite radio stations through SiriusXM Radio. We even pay them to listen to their favorite audiobooks through Downpour. You even get paid to stream your favorite music through Doobly. Now, no company has ever put all this under one roof. And what's happening is it's making it so convenient for the consumer, and the value is so great to the consumer, because remember, we're not giving them a discount or towards a future purchase. We're giving the consumer cash back. We're giving them real money for doing what they were going to do anyway. And what happens with the money is it goes into their cash organizer. Now, once it's in the consumer's cash organizer, and they'll see it just like this, they can do one of two things. They can either send that money to, we call it an e-wallet, but it's a company called Paylutions out of British Columbia, Canada, and you can wire it to your bank. It costs you $2 to wire the money to your bank. But the really smart customers, what they're going to do is they're going to take that money and they're going to put it on their free MasterCard debit card. Now, here's the beauty of it, and here's why it pays so much more to be a VIP customer rather than being a premium customer. If I'm a premium customer, I'm going to get the extra 4% cash back. But remember, I can't collect that money until the end of the year. or the end of my annual membership, not the end of the calendar year, but the end of my annual membership. I'll see it building, but I can't touch it, which means I can't compound it. However, with the 6% cash back that the VIP customer receives, I can compound that money on a monthly basis, because when I get the free cash back on a monthly basis paid to me, in addition to the free cash back, I take that money, I go back into the Doobly Mall, I buy whatever it is that I need, maybe it's some diapers or whatever it happens to be, and I'm going to get cash back on top of the fact that I'm using the free money that came from the merchants who are paying me to buy what I was going to buy anyway. It just makes perfect sense for the consumers to do this. And that's why I tell everybody that Doobly now has the strongest product that's ever been offered to the average consumer, because they're getting paid to do all the things that they were going to do anyway. And in addition to that, we pay them to tell their friends about it. If they just tell 5 of their friends, now you have to be a VIP customer in order to have access to the customer referral program, but if you just tell 5 of your friends and they join as VIP customers, you're going to earn $100 from Doobly, $20 a head. Your membership's paid for. Well, if it's this valuable for the consumer, I mean, we saw what happened to Doug. He got $86.19 cash back in 1 week, 8 days. I bought something for my son at Christmas, last Christmas. It was a teeter hang-up. We had a weekly deal at QVC that week. I got 17% cash back on something I was going to buy anyway. Amazon didn't pay me any cash back. Same exact price, $399.99. Because I was a Doobly VIP customer, because I went through Doobly to go to QVC and buy it, QVC paid me $68. I got over $800 cash back last Christmas because for the first time in my life, I bought everything online through Doobly. I paid for my membership for 8 years just over Christmas. Well, guys, if it's that valuable to the consumer, imagine how valuable it would be to you or an organization. And I don't care whether it's a profit or a nonprofit organization. Think how valuable it would be to them to have a co-branded site with Doobly, so that they can not only strengthen their brand, because they're going to increase the loyalty with their customers if they're a for-profit company. Or think of a high school. You know, parents get sick and tired of buying gift wrap paper that they want, or buying magazine subscriptions they don't really want, or buying cookie dough they don't really want. But they do it because they're passionate about supporting their kids. Well, now what's happening is we've kind of flipped this thing on its head, because as a parent, you are going to get paid rather than having to dig into your pocket and pull out money and give it to the school so that you can buy something you really don't want, or dig in your pocket and make a donation to the Red Cross or whatever organization it happens to be. You're going to get paid to support that school. You're going to get paid to support that organization. Well, let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and stop here. And it's just the perfect fundraiser. But let's bring Alex in. Let me unmute him. And let's let Alex kind of cover some of the basic questions of the Doobly Partner Program. And first of all, Alex, what is the Doobly Partner Program for those that are new on the call?
Well, Alan, it's just terrible that you muted me, because you did such an incredible presentation. I was going to say that I don't think there's a whole lot for me to tell anybody. But how many people do we have on this call, Alan? Do you know?
We've got about close to 30.
Okay, excellent. Hi, everybody. How you doing? Alan actually hit all of the important points on the head. The Doobly Partner Program, first and foremost, in my opinion, is just an incredible way to build your organization. And I've discussed this with Alan on a number of occasions. I think that as a organization goes, we are really, really blessed with a sophisticated product that's made simple and understandable to the consumer and to potential partners. But in building an organization, what it allows us to do is to be able to tell that person that's coming into our organization what it is we do, how global we are, how large the market is, and in a true sense, it's a not ending market. Your potential in the United States alone for potential partners in both nonprofit and profit is somewhere around 3.8 million individual registered partnerships and businesses of all sizes, from Fortune 500 right down to mom and pop, and all of them are applicable. So it's an incredible opportunity to sell something that is this expansive. Alan, does that begin to answer the question, or do you want me to drill into something quite specific?
No, I think that's perfect because what, I just wanted to answer the question so everybody understood it, what it was. And some people feel like they can just go out and talk to an organization. And, one of the things that's been apparent to me, Alex, is I don't ever want to go into an organization cold. I'm going to go into an organization where I either already have a strong relationship with somebody in that organization that is some sort of a decision maker, or I want to find somebody that I know that has a real strong relationship, a strong connection with somebody inside that organization. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Alan, I mean, the bottom line is that the partner program allows companies and organizations of any size to brand the Doobly Global Cashback Travel Site. It's really that simple. That's the proposition. It's very, very simple sounding, but where you want to start are with the people that you know, in the companies that you used to work with, the companies of friends of yours, your church groups, because it's a lot easier to go and talk comfortably to these people about what the benefits are. It's wonderful to have aspirations to go after IBM, for example, but that's probably something that you want to kind of brand yourself into. Initially, what I'm finding, Alan, are that the people that are closing the quickest, that come into the pipeline on, say, it's October 1st, the ones that are closing partners by October 30th are bringing in people they already know. They're also putting people into the pipeline that they want to know, that they're doing industry evaluation on and becoming experts in a particular vertical, which we encourage, and which you'll find in the certification program as part of the educational material. But typically, the quickest close is somebody you already knew.
Well, can we talk a little bit about, I know a lot of people are kind of complaining that they've got to take the certification exam, but I really think it is a good thing. Can you talk about that a little bit and why we need to take it, and what, will it make us a better BA, if you will?
Well, yeah, I think it makes you a better salesperson, a better BA, and certainly an expert when it comes to the partner program. I'm going to continue to use the phrase that we have a sophisticated product that's made simple, because it's the truth. What goes into the product, how it's designed, how it's portrayed, what the branding benefits are, the co-branding benefits, what the VIP membership benefits are, the 3 levels of win. All these things are covered in the material. This is material that you will have seen in the past to the extent that it's standard, intelligent, methodic sales approaches, how to go about building your business. But in addition to that, there's specific information on how to build your vertical, how to go after particular markets, what to research before you try to go into a particular client and discuss how the co-brand affects them. That's called brand alignment. So there's quite a bit of information that's very specific that just simply has to be known. Our goal in the certification program, Alan, and in recreating it, because we've completely redone it, was to make a tool that a BA would go through and sit back and say, I got my money's worth. And truly get your money's worth. So, and also to walk out of it saying, I learned something I didn't know. So I think it's a really, really fine example of the high-end emphasis that Doobly as an organization places on proper education.
Well, plus it really kind of, one of the things you've got to be careful with is you don't want to give an organization, whether it's a for-profit or non-profit, you don't want to give them the impression that you're trying to let Doobly's brand outshine their brand. Doobly is meant to enhance their brand by strengthening the relationship with either their donors, their members, or their customers. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, I mean, now you're digging into the heart and soul of the program, but that's absolutely correct, and there's a very specific way to present that. Doobly has got a massive brand and a massive appeal. It's got a lot of gravity, if you will, but you don't want to make it appear overbearing to the particular client. The client has to understand that their brand actually exceeds ours when it comes to the visual appeal, but it benefits from our brand and what we bring to the table in terms of getting into their database, helping them monetize their database, which is a big, big term. How do you help that client make more money with the people they already know? These things are all part and parcel of that program.
Well, let me ask this question since you just said that. Once you get a company signed up, or whether it's a for-profit or non-profit, once you get them signed up, what does Doobly actually do? What is Doobly's role from that point on? Because I know, basically what we're doing is we're providing for them this portal that they can use to create, a stronger relationship with their customers, and also to create an additional revenue stream for them that's ongoing. So what else does Doobly do for that organization in addition to those two primary things right there?
Well, I mean, the goal number one is to always improve the e-commerce site, and then communicate what those improvements are to each and every partner so that they know how to pass that information to their customers. But in addition to that, Alan, as you know, I mean, it's no great secret, we provide and we build specific marketing tools that we put into all partner back offices. And those will range from banners to very simple letters and newsletters that have very, very key points made in them that help them sell the program on a continuing basis to their database. Because at the end of the day, don't forget, they're coming on board for better brand recognition so they can kind of weigh in off of our reputation. But more importantly, they want to make money on their current database by providing a service to people, but not asking them to change any existing internet buying habit. So with all that said, you have to be promotional and stay in front of your consumers, and there are certain ways during the seasons that we do that, and we provide those tools to each and every partner to support them. As you also know, Alan, in addition, for extremely important partners and larger partners, we will actually become involved with the design of their strategic rollout plan, if requested. And we certainly will advise if they would share their plan with us on whether or not we believe that they are maximizing the potential of the program, and if not, we certainly help them tweak it.
Mm-hmm. Well, one of the things that that I make sure that whenever I'm talking to, for example, when I was, and Alex, for me, it doesn't matter whether I'm talking to someone at the Red Cross or the local high school coach. I don't care. The main thing that I want them to understand, and I kind of try to plant this seed in their mind before I go through the presentation, is that their donors, their members, their parents, they're all customers at when you get right down to it. We all buy things, and everybody's buying online now today because it's just more convenient, get better pricing, etc. And so once I kind of plant that, then the next thing that I'm doing is I just want to make sure that they understand the value that's presented to the average consumer. And I don't necessarily try to do it to their consumer. I just want to do the average consumer. And once they get it, they understand it. And then I show them what's in it for them. I mean, is there any other approach that you prefer over that, or?
No, Alan, I think that's on the head. I mean, I think that what we tried to do, and I mean, and this is just completely the truth of the matter, is we try to provide a win-win-win-win at 4 different levels. Mm-hmm. But the most important win is primarily to the let's take a nonprofit, for example. When we speak with a nonprofit, they're always very leery about new things and about the internet, but not when it comes to us, because what they're seeing is the truth of the matter. We are not asking a donor or any of your people that you contact by any means to do anything other than what they currently do, plain and simple. And then they ask, well, then what is the catch? Well, the catch is actually in your favor. The catch is that you make some money, which to you is the same thing as a donation, but you obviously account for it differently. It's a form of revenue, but you make money, and the consumer gets cash back for supporting you. Okay, well then what's it going to cost them? It's a very simple fee. Is it $900 a month? No, it's not. It's very, very simple. It's very, very small. And they begin to understand very quickly that this is a win-win-win-win. And obviously, as BAs, we also do quite well in the process, but we're actually providing a service, and so far the nonprofits have responded to this just exceedingly well. Exceedingly well.
Well, Alex, it's interesting to me because when the partner program first came back out, I wasn't sure whether I was going to participate in it or not, because I just, I hadn't looked at it in a while, and I knew that you were working on it, and you were, you'd kind of just come on board, and so I wanted to see what happened. And once I looked at it, I said, oh my gosh, how can you not do this? This is the perfect fundraiser for any organization, because nobody's doing anything different, and the parents, if in the case of a high school, they're literally getting paid to participate in the nonprofit or the fundraiser. And that's never happened before. So to me, this is just a no-brainer for everybody concerned. And, Alex, I've done probably, I'd say, close to 30 presentations so far. And, you got to understand, too, and you and I talked about this yesterday, on the nonprofits, these organizations, the boards, they're made up of people that are very conservative. They don't make a quick decision. They don't want to do anything to damage their brand that they already have, or their reputation that they already have. And that's true with the hospital I talked to up in Tennessee. And so we did the first presentation, but what was so interesting, and what's been so interesting with every single presentation I've done, is not one person, not one organization has said no to Doobly. Now, they're not all in yet, because it takes time for people to, to kind of make that final decision, and because they all have questions. They've never done this before. They want to make sure it's legitimate. They've never heard of Doobly before. They want to make sure Doobly is a real company and there's real people behind it and that sort of thing. So it does take time, but you've got to build that relationship. And in the case of the Red Cross, I guess it's okay if I mention him, because I know Michael's talking about it. I got really lucky there, because I had about a 3.5-year relationship with this gal Lou that made the ultimate decision. And of course, you were and helped me with that too, which was really, I really appreciate that. But the bottom line is, they all got it. They said, well, this is a no-brainer. Everybody's going to want to do it. And in the case of the hospital, the one concern they had, Alex, that was so interesting, and you don't want to forget this, is the president of the Human Resources Department looked at me and said, well, Alan, we don't want our competitive hospital here in Tennessee to do this. So we want an exclusivity here in this city. I said, well, look, I can't do that for you, but I can do you one better. I said, I know you know some of the executives over at the hospital. I'm sure you guys are members of certain organizations, civic organizations here in the city. If you refer me to them and they decide to do this, we'll put them under you because you referred them, and you'll earn a 5% commission on everything they do. And they looked at each other. The president of the foundation and the president of the Human Resources Department looked at each other, just smiled, and they said, we can live with that. But the point I'm trying to make is this. If you can get one high school, if you can get one church, they're going to start referring other organizations to you, other high schools, because they've got teachers that work at other high schools that are their friends. Maybe they went to college, or maybe there was a principal that's moved on and he's a principal at another school in another state. But the key thing is you've got to help that first organization be successful, because once you get a success under your belt, it improves your confidence, that you can help an organization do this, but it also gives you some credibility when you go talk to the next organization. One of the questions I've got on here, Alex, somebody's asking, is there any way that we can look at the references of companies that have signed up? Is that going to be available on anywhere on Doobly?
Well, we have to be very careful about that, Alan. Before I even get to that, I wanted to tell you a true story based on what you just said, which I thought was great. My interest and the reason I came to this organization is because of the sophistication of the product. And my belief, I've got a Merrill Lynch and Price Waterhouse background, and the bottom line there is if there's not multiple levels of winning, then it's somebody loses. And in our proposition, there is no loser. It's that plain and simple. I take great pride in the product that we sell as well, because it actually monetizes databases and provides a service to consumers. And that's the truth of the matter. As a direct selling organization goes, we're not selling juice. We're not selling ink cartridges. We're selling something that actually makes a difference. And it particularly makes a difference for nonprofits, because you're helping them sustain themselves. And they desperately need that. And so even though they could be a little difficult to work with sometimes because they're so conservative, their ears are always open and they're always a welcome audience. The interesting story I heard the other day was somebody realized that they had a long road to hoe here with a nonprofit organization, but in the process, what happened was a couple people within the organization that were trying to help said, I'd like to sell this too. How can I sell it? And then before you knew it, we've got a BA who is building their organization because the way they presented the information to this nonprofit's board was so professional, it was so compelling that people actually wanted to come into the organization. And I thought that tells me that it's a perfect offering, just a perfect offering. Anyway, I'm sorry, Alan, I had to throw that in there. What was your question? It was about the references. We have to be very careful, everybody, because you are professionals. On referrals and references, we generally do not talk to nonprofits or for-profits about other partners unless it's well known through a press release. The reason is, even though we have a co-branded product, we protect the rights and interests in the property of our clients. And being a very regulated SEC company, we need to make sure that we maintain all that Sarbanes-Oxley type of regulatory oversight and supervision. So unless it's in the public domain, we typically do not discuss other partners and use them as references. I wish we could, but it would not be professional.
And you know what, Alex, if you're in a boardroom with some executives and you tell them just that, they respect you for that. They're not, they want to know, nobody wants to be the guinea pig, but you just tell them, look, we're not allowed to talk about that because these people protect their brand or their logo, and we're not allowed to talk about it. And they don't have a problem with that. They appreciate it, and they respect the fact that you're going to treat them the same way. And go ahead.
That's Alan. That's actually precisely it. When you solution sell, which is what we do, this is it's an easy sale if you know your product. When you make this kind of presentation and it actually begins to sell itself, all then you have to do is be the consummate professional. And what they hear you say about how you worked with other customers is what they expect to have happen to them. And when you protect somebody else's interests, they know that you're going to protect theirs and almost treat you or see you as an account manager, an indistinguishable part of their own organization. And sure enough, when they have questions or anything else, they're going to be calling on you, which is great for expanding business. So we establish that professional appeal right up front.
Well, let me ask another question. Somebody was asking about this. What's the difference in terms of the cost structure or the cost to the organization, what's the difference for the nonprofit versus the for-profit organization?
Well, that's really a good question. And Alan, if I may, on being able to talk about references, by the way, there will be enough information in the public domain through PR where you'll be able to point to plenty of other companies, profit and nonprofit. So you won't have a problem. It just needs to be in the public domain. I just want to make that clear. So we're not. It's not like we don't have a resume. As far as cost goes, what we did is create a program that can be launched for any partner, profit or nonprofit, at a very reasonable fee. And the fee typically in the U.S. is $69.95, $6,995 for the standard package. And what we produce is a standard package. The reason we produce a standard package and we don't customize it or white label it is that the merchant information upon which we rely that's so competitive needs to percolate up to all partners simultaneously. And when you begin to adjust somebody's program, sometimes you push or you allow to come into play programming aspects that could slow down pertinent information that's supposed to get to their site. So we prefer all sites to be the same. By doing that, we also kept the cost down to $6,995 for a profit organization, for profit. And their monthly maintenance fee is $499. Now, with that said, the reason our nonprofit program is going so well is for nonprofits, we actually wanted to do something for them. And so we have waived the setup fee. So for nonprofits, as long as they can show that they're nonprofit, one person or 1 million, it makes no difference. There is no setup fee, no $6,995, and there's no monthly maintenance fee. And so that just makes the sale ever so much more professional in that you're giving them something that gives their customers something that strengthens their brand, that monetizes their database, and they're paying nothing for it.
Well, Alex, I have to tell you, I think that is so brilliant that the company did that, and I've had 2 different situations in the last couple of weeks where, well, one of them was the hospital up in Tennessee, and they said, okay, well, how much is this going to cost us? And I looked at them, and I just kind of smiled, and I said, nothing, not a penny. And they kind of looked at me, it's not going to cost us anything? And I said, no. And they just, I mean, they're just amazed because they understand the value of what we're giving them in terms of really the value that we present to their employees, to the people in the community, to their patients. They've got about 500 volunteers up there, and so everybody. It's like you said earlier. It's a win-win-win for everybody, including the merchants. Because we're delivering more customers to the merchants, and they love it. And their cost of customer acquisition is lower through Doobly than any other form of advertising they can even think about doing.
That's absolutely right. It's absolutely right, and a lot of people can say this, and it's not sincere, but I know as a fact because you've already mentioned, Michael, it is sincere. We do look for ways to be able to give back to the community. Pardon me, Alan. And nonprofits are always in need of help. And when we were devising our pro forma, we realized we're going to do quite well, and our BAs are going to do quite well. And by not setting or signing up a setup fee for nonprofits, which our way of just getting them into business a lot quicker. And then it was brought up, and I believe it was Michael. He said, well, as long as we're not going to do the setup fee, then let's just go all the way and not charge them a monthly fee, which I thought was completely unnecessary. In most business quarters, you wouldn't have had to have done that by any stretch of the imagination. But I think that giving the whole package for free says a lot about the organization, and personally, it makes me pretty proud to be part of an organization that'll do that. That's on an annual basis. That's what about $12,000 to $15,000 in fees that have been waived.
Mm-hmm. I've called on so many nonprofits now, Alex. The one thing that I've learned that really has been the biggest surprise to me, and this is true of the bigger organizations and the small ones. I was asking one organization in particular, and I'm not going to identify it, but this is a big organization that's really well known in the U.S. And I was asking the individual that I'd been working with, I just point blank asked him, I said, well, how much money would y'all have to earn from the partner program in order to really feel good about it? And what she said to me really astonished me, because they told me that if they were making $275 a month, they would start to get excited about it. And I just, it was all I could do not to laugh. And I said, are you serious? And that individual said, yes. I said, well, you realize that we're not talking about $275 a month. And the individual said, oh, no, I get it. Don't worry. I see how big this is. And they went on to say, this is a no-brainer, Alan. There's not anybody that wouldn't want to do this. We just have to figure out how to convert them. In other words, how do we educate the donor, the consumer, the parent, so they truly understand the offering to them and the benefit to them, because once they get it, then it's all over, and our work will be done. And so that brings me to one other question that I do want to make sure that everybody's clear on. Once we've gotten the company signed up, and I'm going to go to the website here in just a second and show them where the company will actually sign up. But once the company, whether it's a profit, for-profit, or nonprofit, once they've signed up, other than providing the graphics, and that's one of the things that Doobly does so well is the graphics. I think they stand head and shoulders above any other company I've seen, or they're as good as any company I've ever seen in their graphics that they create. Above and beyond the graphics, and you mentioned that you help them with some email campaigns. Did I get that correct?
Yeah, we Alan, as you and I have discussed, we will help design their actual marketing outreach to their database in the event that they need better mastery of what our product can do, because it's a very deep product, and to actually master exactly how to apply it across their entire population of donors and consumers takes a lot of know-how. So we typically help them punt the ball early on in the games until they get their momentum.
Do me a favor. Elaborate on what that really means a little more in plain English for me.
In plain English?
Yeah.
In plain English, it means that you would be surprised at the number of companies that we compete with that provide a product to a sophisticated company and then just say, here it is, have a nice day. If you have a problem with the technology, here's my IT number and goodbye. And they're very short-sighted. We try to help that particular customer look at their database and their consumers in a different way, because now they have a co-branded product and they can speak to them in a slightly different language. We help them with that language. We help them explain to the consumer why there is really a benefit to them, that after a year's worth of purchases, they've saved hundreds, if not thousands, of real, honest-to-goodness dollars, and why they really can't get it elsewhere. And we help them with that messaging. We either will write it for them, we'll help them design it, or we'll proof it and edit it. Our job is to always help them drive consumers to our e-commerce site, because at the end of the day, that's what makes us profitable, people on the e-commerce site. So helping them helps us.
Yes.
No hidden agenda.
All right, now let me ask you another question in regards to what you just said. Currently, what Doobly does is they'll send out, weekly or or either bi-monthly, they'll send out a newsletter to all the customers. Once a nonprofit comes on, or once a partner program comes on board, and they start marketing to their database, and you help them with the message to market to their database, do they not get the same emails that the a customer that I bring on board might get, or is there a difference there, or are you giving that same email to all the customers nationwide, and also doing some extra work to help the partner program?
Well, we'll be taking that information and probably repackaging it for specific partners, but it's the same information. Alan, it's a great question. The same information is the same information. It's really that simple. Mm-hmm. We will repackage it to address the specific needs of a partner, because some partners speak just a slightly different language, or they have a certain emphasis, and so we edit things in and edit things out. But yes, we take core information about the program, from the newsletter, about specials, whatever it might be, and we pass that to everybody who has a stake and an interest in what we do.
Okay. Now, one other question that I had, and you might not get involved in this aspect of it, which is fine. Let's say that I've got a nonprofit, and then I have a bunch of customers that are from BAs in my organization that have gone out and gotten some customers individually, or, something along that line. Will there be any way for me to distinguish in my back office what funds are coming from each one of these individual partner programs, or is it just all going to be, these are your organizational customers and this is what you're getting?
Great question. The partner program, the back office, accounting-wise, on both the network and in the back partner program, we're driving toward those levels of specificity. In other words, to have about 2 or 3 levels of what they call hierarchical reporting, where you will be able to see, and we're beginning to implement some of these mirror sites here in the next 30 days. You'll be able to see the partner, the number of customers that have been registered free, the number of customers that have been registered VIP, the number of customers that have been registered premium, what that total amount is, what your commissionable amount is, and then any referrals that partner makes to other partners. So you would be able to have a full accounting of your activity. Probably more information, to be honest with you, than you really care to have. For me, I want to see how much money I made.
Yeah. Well, you know what, Alice? I'm really impressed with that answer, because I had no idea y'all were going to do that. I really thought it would just be, it would all be poured into the pot, and we wouldn't be able to distinguish one customer from another customer. We wouldn't, there would be no distinguishing information for us at all. So because there will be situations where, maybe somebody who just doesn't want to participate in the program, but they want to get a little referral fee or something, and if that's something that you work out with them on your own, and I'm not suggesting that you should do that, but if you did, I thought there would be no way to know, well, how much do I owe this person if I agreed to give them, let's say, 1% of the income from that organization each month. I don't know how to do that. Well, now what you've just told me is that if that is something you worked out, you could in fact do that.
Well, it is something that we indeed have in planning. It's actually being produced now. I don't have a rollout date for it, but it's something that that we need. And again, Alan, it's all about being professional and about arming our people up front, our BAs, with a professional tool. Again, we don't sell noni juice and we don't sell ink cartridges. We sell, no offense to that, but we sell a really, really sophisticated tool that helps everybody at every level make money with no pain. But the best way to present that is professionally up front. And when people begin to ask questions about accounting, we have those answers too. And it's important for them to be able to know exactly what their productivity is and how they will be treated in an accounting aspect. So we've got that base covered.
And you know what, Alex, that also gives us some information in case we have a smaller nonprofit that might need a little extra help, a little extra boost. We'll know that because we see that, they're really not bringing in the customers. They're not bringing in the numbers that we had expected them to do. So I think this is incredible information for us. I'm really excited to hear this.
Yeah.
There was one other thing I wanted to ask you. Oh, dadgummit, what was it? I forgot what it was now.
I think you were going to ask me if I'll come on your calls regularly and start going through this.
Well, no, you've already. We're going to handcuff you if you don't. So, is that something that you can do though? Maybe I don't know. I don't want to pin you down, but if you could come on once a month or maybe once every 6 weeks, that would be awesome. Because there's so many things happening on the site. I mean, I go back into the Dubley Mall, and every day something's new, and it's like, wow, this looks great, or this is working much better, that sort of thing.
Well, Alan, I'll definitely commit to coming on anytime you want, because this is the only way I can keep track of you. You're so busy trying to get all these things in place. This is the longest conversation I've had with you in the last 3 months, so sure, I'll come back.
Okay, great. Well, Alex, listen, I do know and I recognize that it is the weekend for you, and we want to really thank you for coming on because this has been very informative for all of us, and I look forward to you coming back on a regular basis because, and let me ask you a question, and I apologize for putting you on the spot, but
no.
Do you agree with me that down the road, let's say 3 years, 4 years, 5 years down the road, the partner program will more than likely be producing 90% of the income coming into Dubley?
I don't know. I hate quoting percents, but I will say this. I know where your sentiment and where your thinking is, and I think that it's definitely going to be probably the 800-pound gorilla of all revenue streams. We have so many revenue streams, it's hard to really differentiate sometimes, but there's no doubt that the partner program will be accountable for an unbelievable amount of money. And just think of it this way, Alan. The reason for it is that as opposed to one-on-one sales, we have the ability to properly market a nonprofit or a for-profit who, say, has 1,000 users. And if 10% of them come on board at some package level, that's 100 people. That's a lot of accomplishment where you could have been just going one-on-one. So the multiplicity effect, the ability to bring a lot of people into the cash stream with one call is unbelievable. So yeah, to answer your question, I can't see how it would not be making the majority of the revenue given the fact that one call has such a compounded effect.
Right. And and one thing that's really apparent to me, Alex, is for all practical purposes, we're at the very beginning of this. I mean, Dubley's a 10-year-old company. We all know that. But the fact of the matter is you've been working so hard to completely rework or completely rebuild this partner program, and what we've got today is really, it's exceeded my expectations. And I'm not just saying that to Brown Knows You. I promise you. I really mean that, and especially the information you gave me about all the data we can get in our back office. I think that's great. But it's like every day it just gets better, and it is a situation where everybody's going to want to do this. Just like Jennifer said at that hospital I was talking to, she couldn't believe it, and they were like, And I remember when I was talking to the lady at the Red Cross, and I won't say her name. When I got to the end of the presentation, Alex, this is exactly what she said to me. She said, Alan. And just like this, she said, you get me that contract on Monday, because this was on a Friday afternoon. She said, I can't imagine any scenario where this won't work. I've never seen anything like this. We're going to make this thing work, and I want those contracts on Monday right now. And that's, that's kind of the reaction we get because it is just so appealing to the average consumer, which may or may not be a parent or whatever, and which leads to, I think the viral growth of this thing is going to be phenomenal. It could very well create one of the most significant viral growths on the internet we've ever seen. So I would really encourage everybody to recognize that we are at the beginning of this, but also understand too that there are going to be a few hiccups here and there. I mean, that's inevitable with software, but and I like to try to control my expectation or control the expectations of the organization I'm talking to, and I just flat out tell them. I say, if you don't market this thing aggressively, it's going to fall flat on its face. And they get it, and they understand that.
Well, Alan, just a quick closing remark. That's a perfect point, and that's why we try to help the organization. The organization's customers could very quickly become a different organization's customers. You know, once you sign up with the ABC company as a customer, you're their customer married for life. But if that organization doesn't covet their customers and doesn't get them included in the database and doesn't get them sold in, those same people might also have friends with another company or whatever and go over. So they have a motivation to work with you to get signed up. It's incredibly important. But the thing I wanted to point out is that unlike many other things that get sold in the United States and in Europe and everywhere else, there's only a small market, a vertical area that you can look at to really make your sales. And this is just not true with us. It is virtually a complete bandwidth product, which I very rarely see, and it's because of the nature of the internet. But there is no for-profit or non-profit too small or too big. And so no call ever goes wasted. You can't go into a business where they just simply say, I'm sorry, that doesn't pertain to our business. They might not want it, but it pertains to just about any business you can walk into. And if it's not a partner program sale, I'm going to bet you what happens is if your presentation is disciplined and proper and professional, you'll end up having people asking, how can I do what you do? And that, I think, proves that your sales, your calls will never be wasted in any aspect. It's either going to go partner program or build your organization, and in some cases, both. And I think that's great. I love no waste calling.
Let me ask you one more question real quick. I've got Rodney up in Canada, and he wants to know if the rules in Canada are any different than what they are in the U.S. for the partner program.
No, just in Canada, we hope that they sell twice as fast. That's all.
Well, let me make one other comment, and I'll let you go because I know you've got to get it to another meeting. And again, thank you so much, Alex. And it's regards to the customer requirements. We all know that we've been given or received some information from the company about the customer requirements are actually starting this month. And there's two aspects to it. Number one, what I tell people all the time is this is all about customer acquisition. It's not about, building an organization of BAs who go out and they have to have an auto ship, and that's how you really end up making your money. This is about customers. If you don't get customers, you don't get paid, period. That's the bottom line. And so one thing I want to say is that if I'm a senior vice president, in my opinion, the fact that I only have to have 30 VIP or 30 customer points, I think that's a joke. I should have to have at least 300. However, on the flip side of that, Alex, and I just want you to take this back to the company, and I wish y'all would kind of kick this around just a little bit. I think for somebody that's brand new, that buys a TLA package right out of the gate, and they've just learned about Doobly, they've gotten excited about it, maybe they watched you do a presentation, they said, hey, I want to do this, just like you were saying, to require them to get their 10 customer points in that first 30 days, I wish y'all would take another look at that and maybe give them 60 days or 45 days or just a little bit longer, because it does take some time, and I know they're going to get the 10 free VIP accounts that the vouchers they can give away, but it takes somebody a little bit of time to digest this. Is that something that you could maybe take back to the company and talk about?
Well, I take everything back to the company and talk about it, but Alan, as you know, I try to build a really firm Chinese wall between network and partner program. And so, my pledge to you is always to be empathetic to getting the job done. I'll tell you this, this is the way I look at it. I don't know about the veracity of those numbers. It doesn't seem to be very difficult to me, even if you're new out of the chute. The reason being that I've even run this past my sister, and I ran it past her 90 days ago when I didn't know much about this program, when I was really kind of rebuilding it. And she doesn't believe or buy anything. She's a psychologist, and so everything has a catch. And she had no problem buying into the program because it was just that straightforward. I don't recommend that we stand outside of a grocery store like the Girl Scouts and sell it like cookies.
Right.
But to talk to people that we know and explain earnestly and sincerely where it saves them money on a personal basis is probably the best way that you can learn how to sell the partner program, is at that personal level with somebody who's depending on you for the truth. And doing that is, I know it's not giving you the answer you want, but if there's a requirement as to how many people you have to get, having something that is somewhat easily sellable and truthful and a very apparent product with no catches and no sidewinding roads is a great place to start. So I look at it really as the first level of salesmanship, buying, getting into the partner program. If you can get your customers, you will have no problem presenting to professionals who see the economic benefit in a corporate manner.
Mm-hmm. And from my perspective, the key to understanding your customer is for you to be a customer and for you to understand the significance that the Doobly portal offers you as an individual, because we're all consumers. And as you do that, I tell people all the time, the way to build this business is to become a great VIP customer. And then, of course, the more you use it, the more, you just open it up and show it. You just share the information with other people. And the more you do that, they're going to start signing up as customers. And, of course, the more customers you get, the more appealing your business is going to become to the true entrepreneur or the serious entrepreneur, because they're going to recognize, hey, this is a business that's built on real customers, on real value. And that's what I love about Doobly, because I can tell you this, Alex, if I had to sell a juice or if I had to sell a supplement or anything, I wouldn't be doing this. But I don't have to sell anything. All I really do is just share with people, including the nonprofits. But I try to do it in a very professional way, a very truthful way, and they just respond to it. So, Alex,
well, this will be my last comment, but you hit it on the head. If you can't use it, then you shouldn't sell it.
Yes.
And I mean, the only thing that doesn't apply to is Boeing jets. I mean, you don't have to fly them to sell them. But in what we do, we need to be able to use our program. I needed to send some flowers the other night to some new partners. And I broke out my VIP card, and I went to the flowers page, if you will, and there was a special from a florist that I had never heard of before, but they were offering 22% cash back. Now, when it comes to sending flowers, I don't care who sends them as long as the recipient receives them.
Uh-huh.
And at 22% back, it didn't take long to realize that the 5 customers that I just bought for paid for my annual subscription. My membership to be, and that was in one shot. So it's easy. It's easy, it works, and it actually saves money. And that struck home with me, is that I ended up just paying for my annual membership on the purchase of some flowers for some customers. It was incredible. And that's the truth. That's my story, and I'll stick to it.
All right. Well, Alex, I can't thank you enough for taking us this much time on a Saturday for us. And I look forward to having you on the call again. Hopefully in a couple of weeks, if we could kind of, we'll talk about that, but hopefully in the next couple of weeks I can get you back. We can talk about some of the developments that are happening, and I'm sure there's going to be some announcements towards the end of the year about some new programs or new things that are going to happen with the Doobly portal. So, Alex, thank you so much. I hope you have a great weekend, and I look forward to working with you on a long-term basis.
Sure, Alan, you bet. And the next time, perhaps we can talk about what should be the newly launched certification exam and program. We can kind of give a little bit more of an update on that.
Do you have any? I assume you don't have a concrete date as to when that's going to be launched.
Well, I had heard last week that we should have all the translations. In case anybody doesn't know, whenever we produce something in the English language, we then produce it in all, I guess it's 11 languages now that we support, and it has to go out simultaneously. My understanding is that the English portion of the certification exam and the English over the voiceover should be ready at the end of next week. I am hoping.
Super.
Okay.
Well, Alex, thank you so much. You have a great weekend.
Okay, everybody. Thank you so much for letting me be on this call. I appreciate it. Alan, as usual, I'll be working with you on Monday. Crack of dawn.
Okie doke. Take care.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, everyone. Listen. That was great. I really appreciate Alex doing that. Let's do this. Let's take a 5-minute break, and you know what? I'm going to take a 6-minute break. And if you need to, go to the restroom or something, by all means, go ahead and do that. And then we'll come back, and I'll talk about the TLA program. And I want to talk about it specifically as it relates to the partner program, because we've had such a good overview with Alex on this. But you also need to understand, and Alex wanted me to make sure that I talked about this, is if you really want to maximize your income potential even with the partner program, you still have to build your organization. But as far as I'm concerned, the good news is that if you're working with nonprofits, if you come in with a TLA package, you will force feed, if you will force feed the growth of your organization, because I'll give you a perfect example, and then we'll take the break here. As we venture out and start sponsoring high schools and churches and other organizations, whether there be some type of cancer research, whatever it happens to be, as we branch out and do those in areas that are not local to us, it really behooves you to have somebody locally that can handle that organization, that can work with them, that can really, whatever they need from us, because that just strengthens the bond, that strengthens the relationship with Doobly and with the individual helping that organization, so that they're not going to go anywhere. And as I said earlier, it doesn't take a whole lot of money per month for them to start getting excited about it, especially when they realize it's residual and it's ongoing, and especially when they start to recognize the viral growth. So what would happen in that case, is, let's say you are living in Atlanta like I do, and maybe you find a high school in Miami, Florida. Well, you can't go down there, but you need to. So what I would encourage you to do is start talking to somebody, some friends. You've all heard the 6 degrees of separation. Find somebody in Miami who is an entrepreneur. And if you've got the school ready to go, because you can do these presentations live, through a webcast. I've done all of them but 2 through webcasts, and I've done over almost 30 now. And nobody said no. And I'm not saying no to me. They've not said no to Doobly. So if you've got a school ready to go and you can find the right person in that city, all you got to do is say, look, this school is ready to go. You've got to get your TLA package, take the certification, and then we can jump on this right away. Who's going to say no to that? Especially an entrepreneur who really understands it because they see the value in it. Who's going to say no to that? And so you can position that person anywhere you need in your organization to help you build your rank. And what happens, and we'll show this, I'll demonstrate it with the numbers in just a few minutes when we come back, the greater your rank, the more money you're going to make from these nonprofits and these for-profit organizations that you're sponsoring. Because if you're just a TLA, the maximum income you're going to make from an organization like that is 5% override on their customers. If you're a team coordinator, you're going to double your income. You're going to go from 5% to 10%. If you're a sales director, you go from 10% to 15%, and so forth and so on. And we'll talk about this. So you absolutely want to build your rank as you do this. You need to do both of them. But in my opinion, what happens is the partner program allows you to do it so much easier because it becomes irresistible to the real entrepreneurs out there. So guys, it is now 1:20. Let's come back at 1:26, and I'm not going to take more than about 30 minutes, and I'll just do the training on the TLA program. I'll talk about the organic growth versus the TLA program and what it really means to our income. So I'll be back in just a few minutes. We'll be back at 1:27. It just turned 1:21. 1:27. Okay, so we're in the training session now, and what I want to do is I want to talk about the, yes, I have my recording on, thank you, Cherie. I want to talk about building your rank and what that means to your income and how it's going to really make sure that you maximize your income potential with Doobly. And guys, let me just say this before we start. You know, we talked about, I mentioned it briefly a couple times with Alex, that we're at the very beginning of this. And what I mean by that is all the low-hanging fruit, if you will, it's just sitting there on the vine and it's just waiting for us to come along and pick it. Now, there are videos that are starting to show up on YouTube right now of people that are starting to go after high schools, people that are going after other organizations. And they're going to make all kinds of crazy claims because that's what people like them do, and that's okay. But you also got to factor in the fact there's competition coming into this marketplace. You know, we knew this would happen. I didn't think the competition would show up this early, to be honest with you. from other companies, not from other BAs. So you got a choice here. You can sit back and you can kind of watch things happen, or you can go make things happen. That's up to you. And I'm not going to sit here and drag anybody across the finish line. That's not my job. My job is just to be kind of a messenger, if you will, and help people understand how things work and how to build an organization, how to talk to nonprofits, and et cetera. So, as I said earlier, the backbone of your success is the VIP customer. Well, the marketplace, I guarantee you, today, we've got less than 50,000 VIP customers in all of North America. That includes Mexico and Canada. I guarantee we've got fewer than 50,000 VIP customers, and I really think we've probably got less than 30,000. Now, why is that? You know, we could debate that back and forth, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. All that matters is we've got an incredible product to offer the consumer. We need to get out there and grab it now, because you've got an opportunity to change your financial destiny forever, as far as I'm concerned. So, having said that, you know, recognize that we don't get paid on the 4% and the 6%. We get paid only on the free cash back. So everybody, all three customers, whether you're a free customer, premium customer, or VIP customer, you get the free cash back. In this case, the 6.5%. And if you're a premium customer, you get an extra 4% in addition to the 6.5%. But you don't get paid any commission on that 4%. Doobly's just trying to make it so enticing to the consumer by giving them more cash back, and I'm fine with that. I'm very happy with that, because that's going to keep our customers locked to us. Okay, and then in the case of the VIP membership, you're getting the commission on the 6.5%, the extra 6%, which makes up the 12.5. Because remember, everybody gets the free 1, 2, 3, all of them do, but the VIP gets the extra 6%, and the premium gets the extra 4%. We don't get paid on the 4%, nor do we get paid on the 6%. We only get paid on the 6.5%. You have to recognize that. Now, let me just tell you this. When you first sit down with a nonprofit, I don't get into this much detail, because they're not going to remember that. When I start to train them after they've signed up and after they've committed, that's when I start worrying about that, okay? And you can see the free cash back at Macy's, for example, is 1.9%. Over here at Match.com, it's all the way up to 75%. That's a lot of free cash back. According to Michael Hansen, the average free cash back in the mall is about 8%. That's the average. And according to Michael, the average VIP customer today is purchasing somewhere between $240 and $260 a month in the mall. Now, that's before you add in the travel portal. So that number should go up pretty significantly. And you can go from there. You know, the average is 8%. The average is, call it $240. Well, you can figure out what you're making, what the average VIP customer is going to make you, and also you can figure out if it's an organizational customer, what it's going to make me. If it's my personal customer, I'll make 25% of that. So here's what I want to do. I want to look at the rank advancement. I'm going to assume that everybody who joins as BA is going to get a VIP membership, because it would make no sense whatsoever for you not to do this. I'm going to assume that everybody comes in with at least a TLA package, I mean a team member package, because you have to, which is $4.99, and that's a one-time fee, okay? And then I'm going to compare that to the TLA package. Now, the other thing that I'm going to assume here is that everybody, and this should be your goal, we're going to compare the income doing the organic growth. We're going to compare the income of doing a TLA package, and I'm going to assume in both of these cases that you're going to get, your goal is to get to sales director at minimum. Now, let me just stop right here and say this. And I absolutely believe what I'm telling you is the truth. But I don't have a crystal ball, so I can't prove it to you. But I believe that we will have hundreds, I mean hundreds of people that will join as a team member that will never advance past the rank of a team member. But because they have a knack for gathering customers, I believe those team members, hundreds of them, I believe they will make more money than probably 70% of the senior vice presidents. Now, that's a pretty profound statement. First of all, how could that even be possible? Well, it takes quite a bit to get to senior vice president. Not really with the TLA package, but it takes a good bit of effort to get there. Most people aren't equipped to do that. The people that are, most of them and I'm not trying to be ugly to anybody, but most of them are your typical network marketers who don't go out and get customers. They just keep adding people, and they've got hordes of people that will follow them from one company to the next. And I like to call those people network marketing whores, and I apologize, but that's what I call them, because that's what they are. They just jump from one company to the next. So they'll have the people come over and follow them, and they'll get to that rank of senior vice president, but nobody's going out and getting customers because that's not what they've been taught in all those other companies they've been with. I don't want anything to do with those people. They waste my time. They will burden me with trying to answer questions and complaining about this, complaining about that, because it's not perfect. And I don't want anything to do with those people. I really don't. I'm only looking for the serious entrepreneur. And I don't care what their circumstance. If it's a stay-at-home mom who only wants to make $300, maybe $500 a month, and she understands that this is a customer acquisition model, hey, more power to her. I'll help her in a heartbeat. She's got a need. If it's, a busy professional who really wants to engage in Doobly but doesn't have the time, but they're willing to buy the marketing packages, they're willing to do some other, maybe get a blog or maybe hire a kid in college to do a Facebook stuff campaign for them, I'm going to help them. I'm looking for the self-starters. I'm looking for the people that don't have to be prodded. I don't have time for that, and neither do you. Neither do you, because this time, this next 9 months, this next 12 months is the most precious time we'll ever have at Doobly. Now, I'm going to be honest with everybody on this call, and I'm just going to kind of tell you something. I do not want to do the network marketing with Doobly. I mean, I'm going to do some of it because I know, I'm smart enough to know that I've got to build my rank. I just don't want to fool with the typical network marketing BS that you have to deal with. The other reason I don't want to do it is because I know that I've watched this happen over and over again, and I don't care if the company hears me say it or not. I've watched Michael change things on a whim. Just 1 week he says something else, and then 2 weeks later he makes a change, does something different. And it messes up the business strategies that we put together. I don't want to succumb to that. I want to insulate myself from those changes as best I can. And for me, it's all about the partner program. And just like Alex said, with one call, you could bring in tens of thousands of customers. That's where the money is. Now, it doesn't mean everybody can do it, because not everybody will. Some people are going to be too intimidated to do that, and understand that. But anybody can go out and start building customers. And let me give you a clue, too. I said on that, I said it was a perfect business for everybody, and if you just wanted to be a stay-at-home mom that wanted to make $500 a month, if you look at the direct selling industry as a whole, worldwide, and you take all the distributors and you lump them all together look at the average income for the average distributor, it's less. Now listen to me, it's less than $250 per year. Now that is really pathetic. That's a pretty sorry indictment of the industry. And what it tells me is there's a lot of people, the vast majority of people get into the industry and don't belong there. They don't belong. They really shouldn't have their own business. But this is so different, because you don't have to sell anything. All you do is use the product, which is the VIP membership. That's really the only product we have. You use that and you share the results with people. I mean, it's like, let's say you were 50 pounds overweight and you took some diet pill, and in 1 month you lost 40 pounds. You're going to get the attention of your neighbors that also might be overweight. Okay? Well, same thing here. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. And the guy that lost the 40 pounds, he doesn't have to sell a thing. All he has to do is walk outside, maybe take his shirt off or something, and everybody's going, holy smoke. And it's the same principle here, okay? I don't mean to be silly, but that's what I'm trying to get at. Anybody can build this business, because you don't have to sell anything. You just share what's happening to you and as a VIP customer. Now, I'm going to assume that everybody's going to average, and I don't care how you do it. I'm going to assume that you're going to average 30 VIP customers a month for 3 months while you're getting to the sales director position. So let's look at the numbers. If you average 30 VIP customers per month, that's $99 times 30 times 25%. That's $742.50. Now, that's the 25% commission on the VIP membership itself, But because you referred them, because I'm assuming you are a VIP customer, therefore you have access to the customer referral program, you're going to get the $20 referral fee on each one of those, which is another $600, so that's $1,342.50 every single month, just on the VIP customers that you're going to average. Now, I don't care if you do it with a blog. I don't care if you do it on Facebook. I don't care if you do it with a booth at a fair. I don't care if you do it I don't care how you do it. I'm just going to assume you're going to get 30 VIP customers every month, and this is the income you're going to get every single month. Now, what did I just say about the average income per year? Less than $250. You just crushed it with this. And this is just the commission off the $20 referral fee plus the commission off of the membership. This doesn't include the residual, but you're not going to have a lot of residual off of 30 customers. And as a matter of fact, what it would be, the calculation on that, it would, and I'll show it to you in just a second, but it would be let's call it $240 times 8%, because that's the average free cash back, and we get paid on free cash back. So 240 times 8% times 25%, because you're going to get 25% commission on your personal customers, and that would be times 30. That would be your residual income. So if we assume you do it for 3 months, that's $4,027.50 for the 3 months. Now, if we do this organically, and you come into the business as a team member. Now, Rob was talking about the fact that he's a free BA and he wants to upgrade to TLA. But right here, I'm going to assume that you're coming in as a team member. Well, as a team member, you're eligible to earn 5% commission on anybody that you personally sponsor. Okay? So if you sponsor somebody on your front line as a team member, you're going to earn a 5% commission on their business package. This is that one-time fee of $499, which is $24.95. You'll also earn a 5% commission on the $99 VIP membership. So if you sponsor 3 people on your front line, because we're trying to get to the rank of sales director, then the first thing you've got to do is go to team leader. You do that by sponsoring 3 people on your front line. You personally sponsor them. And so if you look at the income from that, there's your 30 VIP customers that you got, because remember, we're averaging 30 a month, plus there's the 3 BAs right here times the one-time fee of $499 times 5%, plus there's the 3 VIP memberships times 5%. So your total income for the first month is $1,432.20. Well, now, in order for you to go from team leader to team coordinator, that's the next rank, you've got to help these 3 people duplicate this same structure. In other words, each one of these guys has to get 3 people under them. And they must be personally sponsored by these 3 people, okay? So if we go to the next page, you're a team leader now. As a team leader, you're eligible to receive 10% commission on anybody that you personally sponsor rather than 5%, which you got as a team member. So if you sponsor someone on your front line right now, instead of making 5% of that $499 package and 5% of the $99 VIP membership, you'd make 10% on both. Okay, but that's not what I'm interested in right now. I want to help you get to the rank. So let's help this person right here get 3 people on their front line, and we're going to help them. That's the beauty of this. They become a team leader. Do the same thing right here. This person becomes a team leader. The 3rd person you do it to, and now you've got 3 team leaders on your front line. You're now promoted to a team coordinator. Okay? If we look at the income generated this month, you got your 30 VIP customers in month 2. These 3 BAs, they didn't get any customers their first month, because I'm assuming it takes a little bit to figure this all out. I'm going to assume in the second month, and it could be 3 months, but let's just assume in the second month they also get 30 VIP customers every month, because you're going to teach them how to do this, and these are people that understand that this is all about customer acquisition. So 30 times 3, the 3 VAs, times 99 times 5%. Now, why are you only getting 5%? I just said you're eligible for 10% as a TLA, but here's the deal. You were a TLA at the beginning of this month. They were a team member, and the way you calculate your income on them is you have to go, because we're talking about these people down here, you have to go, you're eligible for 15% as a team coordinator, but you've got to subtract out the 10% that this person's eligible to receive, and so that leaves 5% left. That would be your override on these people down here. Okay? So 9 BAs times $499 times 5% plus the VIP membership times 5%, that gives you a total of $2,057.10 in month 2. I just blew this up so we can spread it out so we can see it a little bit better. You're a team coordinator. You're eligible for a 15% commission on anybody that you personally sponsor. So now what we need to do in order for you to get to a sales director, we need to help these 3 people become team coordinators. In order for them to become team coordinators, they've got to duplicate this structure. They've already got their first 3, but they need to help. See, those are their 3 right here, and now they need to help these 3 get 3 each, just like these 3 did for me, all right, or for you. So there's the 3. That becomes a team leader. This person becomes a team leader. This person becomes a team leader, and this person is now promoted to a team coordinator. Do the same thing, and this is all going to happen at the same time, and it might take 2 months to get it done. You just never know, but it's not going to happen, just perfectly like this. But the same thing here. We help these 3 people get 3 each. There's a team coordinator. Same thing over here. There's your 3rd team coordinator, which promotes you to a sales director. Well, if we look at the income on this, you had 30 VIPs. Remember, you're averaging 30 VIPs every month. This is the 3rd month. There's another 1342.50. You've got 12 BAs. Here's 3 plus 9. Those 12 BAs are also getting 30 VIP customers. These 3 got 30 VIP customers last month as well, but this is the first month. These 9 down here are getting it, but you've got 12 BAs that are getting 30 VIP customers every month. They're averaging that times 5%. That's 1782. Then you've got these 27 BAs down here. They're all paying that one-time fee of $4.99 times 5% plus their VIP membership times 5%. That gives you a total income in month 3 of $3,931.80. Now, if we add all 3 months together, here it is, $1,432.20 plus $2,057.10 plus the $39.31.80. That's $7,421.10. That's how much money you made in those 3 months. Okay? This is the organic growth. Now, understand this. You've got 39 people in this organization. Okay? You've got 3 plus 9 plus 27. That's 39 people. They're all positioned just perfectly. Well, if you were doing nothing but the typical network marketing deal with this, and you were trying to build your rank, what would happen is, in order for you to get to a sales director position, you'd probably have to sponsor anywhere from 140 to 200 people in order to get the 39 people located just right. Okay, this is the perfect structure, and it never works that way. It's just not real life. All right, now let's do this. Let's think about this. You're a sales director. And here's where I want to make sure that you understand that in order to maximize your income with this business, you've got to have the rank, which gives you, or you got to have the structure, which here's the structure that gives you the rank. But it's the width. It's the width. In other words, how many people you sponsor on your front line. That is what determines how much money you're going to make. Because in this scenario right here, this is a perfect structure again, okay, which is never going to happen in real life. The most you're going to make on all of these people, or I should say on all of their customers, because we've already seen the income you made from them being sponsored in the business, and that's a one-time deal, by the way. You're only going to make a 5% override on all of the personal customers of all these people. And let's say that all of these people are getting, let's say they each get 1,000 customers. Then they're all spending $100 a month, each one of those customers. So if each one of these 39 people has 1,000 customers each, and all those customers are spending exactly $100 a month, and that's it, well, you're only going to make 5% on the commission on all of that, okay? However, look at this. If you sponsored another 39 people on your front line to match these 39, and let's say they all stayed as team members, but they were all personally sponsored by you, look what happens. First of all, as a sales director, you're going to earn a 20% commission on their business package. That's the $499 package. You're going to earn a 20% commission on their VIP package, which is the $99, but you're only going to earn a 15% override on all of their customers. Well, let's assume that those 39 BAs that you personally sponsored each get 1,000 customers, just like these 39 people underneath you did. And let's assume that those 1,000 customers only spend $100 a month also. Well, look at the difference in the income. You're a sales director. This person's a team member. you're going to get a 15% override because you've got to take 20% minus their 5%. That gives you a 15% override on their personal customers, which means you're making 3 times as much money on all of these customers over here as you are on all of these customers over here. There's the same number of customers, same number of people. That's where the width comes into play. Now, again, let me just say this. You do not have to do this structure, this market expansion if you don't want to. If you just want to come in as a team member and do nothing but collect customers, hey, that's fine. You can do that. It's up to you. It's your business. It's up to you to decide what you want to do with it. I want to maximize the income with it, so I'm going to take it to the next level. But now what I want to do is I want to compare what you have to do to get to a sales director from the organic growth. I want to compare that to the TLA package. So let's see what happens. Now, here's the income from all of this. Now, what happens, I'm talking about these 39 people here. Here's the $7,421 that you made from these 39 people and all of their, well, I don't have their customers included in that. Here's the 39 BAs on your front line, and they're all getting 30 VIP customers a month too, just like these were down here. And look at the difference in income. It's $22,038.90. Well, now let's look at this if we do the TLA package. Now, the TLA package is not meant for everybody, but I tell you what, if there's any way I could afford it, I would do it. If I really want to build some significant income with this, other than just collecting customers. If you're just going to collect customers and that's all you want to do, you don't need a TLA package. But if you really want to build this out, this is the package you need to try to do, because here's what happens. You start out as a TLA, which means you start out earning twice as much commission because you're not starting as a team member where you're only eligible for 5%. Now you're starting as a TLA, you're eligible for 10%. It's the same thing as a team leader, but we just call it TLA, Team Leader Accelerated Package, because you start out buying the TLA package rather than the team member package, okay? So if you sponsor another TLA, because people do what you do, and remember, in this scenario, I'm assuming that we're going to really go after nonprofits, and we're looking for people to help us expand the nonprofits. So they're going to get a TLA package as well. So that's $2,495 for the package. This is a one-time fee, by the way. 10% commission on it. That's $294.50. There's the $99 VIP membership. You get 10% on that as well. So if we sponsor 3 people on our front line, just like we did with the other example, except these are TLAs, and we started as a TLA, now you're a team coordinator. Now, you're a team coordinator with only 3 people in your organization. In the organic growth, you had to have 12 people perfectly positioned in order to become a team coordinator. In other words, each one of these guys had to have 3 people underneath them that they personally sponsored. Okay? So you can see this is a much smaller organization. It's a lot easier to get team coordinator with this than it is doing the organic method. Trust me. If you're averaging 30 VIP customers a month, just like the other example, there's a $1,342.50. These 3 BAs are getting their package. There's $748 plus their VIP membership. Now, in the first month, remember, they're not getting 30 VIP customers because they're just kind of figuring this all out. But that's $2,120.70 in the first month. All right. In the second month, what we're going to do is we're going to help these 3 people find 3 TLAs each, and that's going to promote you to a team coordinator. But remember this, now that you're team coordinator, you're eligible for a 15% commission on anybody that you personally sponsor. So if you sponsor somebody, you're going to get 15% of that $2,495 package. You're going to get 15% of their VIP package, the $99. But again, we're not interested in this. I just want to show it to you. We're interested in building this rank. So to go from team coordinator to sales director, I've got to help these people, these 3 people, duplicate this structure so that I've got 3 team coordinators on my front line. So there's 3 TLAs. This person now becomes a team coordinator. Now, let me just stop right here and just say this. In order for you to build the rank to sales director, and let's say you've got these 3 people came in as TLAs. If one of these people down here didn't come in with a TLA package, let's say this person right here came in with a team member package, all it would mean is this person right here that came in as a team member, we have to help that person find 3 team members under him or her in order for them to become a team leader because they didn't come in with a TLA package. Okay? So in other words, everybody doesn't have to do the TLA package. You can still get there, but doing the TLA package makes it a lot easier. All right, so these three people all come in TLA packages. Now you've got 3 team coordinators on your front line. You're now a sales director. Look at the difference. You've got 12 people. You reached the same rank in the organic method, but in the organic method, you had to have a minimum of 39 people. And I guarantee it's probably going to take more like 140. This is so much easier to do. Plus, you know, you're doing several things here. You're building your rank a lot faster. It's easier to build that rank because it takes fewer people. And then the same thing, you know, all the money, here it is again. You got 3 BAs times 30 VIPs. That's these guys right here. Plus you're getting the 9 BAs down here who all came in with the $24.95 TLA package at 5% of that. Their VIP membership's at 5%. There's $2,955.30. All right. Because you're a sales director, you're now eligible to earn 20% on anybody you sponsor. Well, let's do this. Let's now filter in the nonprofits. Okay? I'm going to assume that each BA, each business associate, including yourself, I'm going to assume you only get one nonprofit, just one. Now, let me tell you something. What I've learned is if you get one high school, you'll get 5. If you get 5, you're going to get 20. All you need is 4 high schools, and I'm telling you, you're done for life. You are done for life. It'll take some time for it to filter out. But if you get 4 high schools and you really help them be successful so that the viral growth kicks in, I just can't understand how you're going to make less than $50,000 or $60,000 a month 2-3 years down the road. Now, $50,000 or $60,000 a month, and it could be a heck of a lot more than that, but $50,000 or $60,000 a month, that changes your life dramatically. You can literally live anywhere in the world you want to with that kind of income, and you can do, I mean, you know, you can't just do anything, but you can do a lot. That, especially when you consider that it's residual, and it's not going to go away because, you know, that's the beautiful part about high schools as well. I meant to talk about this with Alex. But one of the things that you need to recognize is with a high school, what I love about it is, number one, and let me kind of explain it this way. The Red Cross, and most of you know I close the Red Cross, they've got 900 chapters nationwide. Well, if Doobly came to me and said, Alan, look, here's the deal. You can either have the 900 chapters of the Red Cross, or you can have 900 high schools, but you cannot have both. I would take the 900 high schools in a heartbeat. And let me tell you why. The parents are absolutely passionate about helping their kids. The donors of the Red Cross, they might feel a civic duty to support the Red Cross, but they're not as passionate. It's you know, you're not talking about their kids. So I'd much rather have the 900 high schools. Now, here's the other thing about the high schools that you want to understand. And the same could be said for the church. There'll be a lot of passionate people in that church, but not nearly so as the high school. Okay, if you've got 900, or if you've got a high school, let's say the parents are you just sponsored the high school with a partner program, and let's say you've got some parents that are, the kids are in their junior year. The next year is when they really get thing rolling with the partner program, and they're making all this kind of money, and then their kid graduates from high school, and they don't have any other kids coming in behind them, and that kid goes off to college. What do you think the parents are going to do? Are they going to quit using their VIP membership at Doobly, which supports the local high school, even though they don't really have any interest in the high school now because their kids are gone? Do you think for 1 minute they're going to quit using the Doobly VIP membership? Heck no, they're absolutely not going to stop using it because they're getting paid to do everything they were going to do anyway. And I promise you within the next couple of years, the value to the consumer will be so much greater than what it is today. Absolutely will be. So that's my point about the high schools. So I'm going to assume that you get one high school each, and that's it. And let's say that only 400 parents, and that's a small number, okay? Let's assume there's no viral growth from those 400 parents. In other words, those 400 parents don't tell any of their friends, they don't tell any of their family about it so that they can also enjoy the benefits of a VIP membership. We're going to assume that they just keep their mouth shut, but they use it. They're paying $99 a year for it, times 12 BAs, times 5%, because remember, you only get a 5% override. That's $23,760 just on the VIP memberships, all right? Each one of them, you only have one high school. Let's look at the residual income. We hadn't talked about this yet. Each VIP customer in all 9 of these partner programs, the average purchase per month, as I said, and I got these numbers from the company, is $240 per month. And it's actually going to go up a lot more than this because of the travel portal, but let's use the conservative number here. The average free cash back we know is 8%. The company, that's no problem for the company to figure that out. So $240 times 8% is $19.20. That's the free cash back that each one of those 400 parents is averaging every month from Doobly. Well, the partner program gets 30% of that. Because these are organizational customers to you, you're getting 5% of that. That's 96 cents. That's okay. It starts adding up pretty quick. So that's $4,608 because 96 cents times 400 times 12 is $4,608. Okay? You got the 23,760 up here, so if you add those two together, you're at about close to $30,000. But look at the power of the partner program. If each BA only sponsors one partner program with 400 VIPs, again, I'm just refreshing the numbers here again. Here's the residual income. Now that's per month, the $4,608 per month. Okay, this was an annual. This is one-time annual membership, so you only get that once a year. So $4,608 per month times 12 months is $55,296 in the year. Plus the 23, that's $79,056 per year. That's your yearly income from 12 partner programs underneath you. Now, I haven't factored in your partner program yet, so there's more money to come. But that's what we're looking at. That's with only 12 people, with one high school each. And I'm telling you, it is impossible. It is impossible for you to only get one high school. If you get one high school and you work with them and make sure they're successful with it, they're going to refer 4 or 5 other high schools to you, I promise you. Let me give you an example, and I want to make sure y'all, I'm going to drive this home because I want to make sure y'all hear me. I did a presentation. I did it over the internet just like I'm doing right now. I did a presentation with Coach Hammond at Belfry High School in Belfry, Kentucky. Now, just so happens that he's been coaching there for about 35 years. He's the winningest high school football coach in Kentucky history. He's got a lot of clout with a lot of high schools. So I was sitting here in my office just like I am right now, and I did a webcast with him, and all I talked about was the value to the average consumer, and then I told him what it meant for them, and I told him how much money they could make with it. I really didn't get into the specifics on how much money he could get, but here's what his reaction was when we finished the presentation. Mark Goodman was in the room with him. Mark happened to go to high school with him, and Mark's worth probably somewhere between $50 and $100 million. But Mark's a real business person. He understands the value of Doobly because he realizes we're not changing the buying habits of the consumer, and that's why he's doing this. But anyway, he said, well, Coach, let me ask you a question. Do you have any concerns or any questions about Doobly? And here's exactly, as best I can paraphrase it, what the coach said. And I'm going to use his colloquial expressions. He says, no, he said, boys, let me tell you something. He said, I've been here for a long time. And he said, you better believe I've seen every kind of money-making scheme coming through that door right there, trying to get me to do some kind of fundraiser with them. He said, but boys, I ain't never seen nothing like this. He said, we need to do this, and we need to do it now. And I promise you that's exactly what he said. And he got it. And he's not the only one that's reacted like that. The Red Cross nearly came through the phone and grabbed me by the throat and said, hey, get me the contracts on Monday. People see it. They recognize that they've never seen anything like this. And so if you make sure that this high school, I mean, we're making sure that Belfry is going to be successful, trust me. Because once they are, guess what will happen? He will probably refer 200 or 300 schools to me. He's already told us he could do 500, but I'm cutting it down. Those were his words, not mine. He said, "Oh, I'll get you 500 schools," because he's got such a reputation throughout the tri-state area up there around Kentucky. So that's my point. You get one high school successful, and it's impossible for you not to get 3 or 4 more. Okay, but let's stick with just the one, and let me show you what happens here. You got those 12 BAs. Remember, they're getting 30 VIPs a month. Okay, that's 360 VIPs per year with all 3 of them. So 12 times 30 times 360, or equals 360 times the $99 times 5%. That's $1,782 per month. Yeah, because you're getting 30 a month. Okay. You know what? That's not right. I am so sorry, because 300. Oh yes, it is. I'm sorry. It's the 12 times 30 is the 360 per month. I was trying to say 360 per year. Okay, so that's correct. That's 1,782 per month. Then you've got 30 VIPs that each one of you are averaging yourselves. These are your personal customers, and remember, you make 25% on everything your personal customers do. So there's 1,342.50. You've got 360 VIPs times 240. Now I'm doing the residual income. 240, that's the average purchase, times the average free cash back, which is 8%, times your override of 5%. That's $345.60 per month. Then you've got your personal customers. You got 90 because you did 30 each month for 3 months, times $240 times 8% times 25%, because you always make 25% commission on your personal customers. That's $432 per month. Add all that together, that's $3,902.10 per month. Times 12 is $46,825.20 plus the 79. You're now looking at $125,000 a year. Now, let's remember a couple things here, because these are important. Number one, I assume there was no viral growth whatsoever. In other words, I assume these 400 parents didn't tell anybody. I'm assuming that no new parents or no new kids are coming to the high school, which is totally ridiculous. Listen, we've already done some extensive studies. We believe, based on, now let me just be fair about this. The market research that we did was done back in 2007, 2008. We didn't even have the VIP membership back then. So I can't sit here and say that these equate one for one. But here's what we found out. They did some test marketing for a very short period of time, and here's what they found. They found and these were all paying customers, though. They weren't free customers. They found that anybody that joined Doobly back then as a customer, and I don't remember what the fee was back then, because that was over in Europe, actually. Those customers that joined Doobly, that became a customer at Doobly, and they paid for that customer membership, but nothing like $99 a year. I don't know what it was. Over the next 90 days, each one of those customers, on average, would tell 5 new customers, or 5 new friends, whatever you want to call it, that would come in and sign up as a customer at Doobly and pay for that membership. So each one was referring 5 over 90 days. And then they stopped the market research, so we don't know if it kept duplicating. And I don't want to sit here and say that, let's assume that each one of those 400 parents is going to tell 5, because I don't believe that'll happen. You know, some won't tell any. Some might tell 1 or 2, and some might tell 10, because they realize, hey, I'm getting $20 a piece for doing this. But I don't know what the average is going to be. So I've just been very conservative, but I'm telling you, there'll be some viral growth. And the more value that Doobly offers the consumer, the more viral growth we're going to have. That's just common sense there. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to figure that one out. But you did this with only 12 BAs in your organization. Now listen to me. I've only been with one other company in this industry. It's a company called Nu Skin Enterprises. If I wanted to make $125,000 a year, I would have had to have at least 1,500 BAs in my organization in order to do that. At least 150 BAs. I'm sorry, 1,500. We've only got 12 here. 12. And I'm being so conservative, it's a joke, because I'm assuming no viral growth. Well, if you include the yearly income from your individual partner program, you're actually looking at a total, don't add these two together, your total would actually be $145,645.20 per year. See, these numbers don't include your partner program. These are the 12 VAs under you. Add the income that you would get from your partner program, you're at $145,000 a year right there. Only 400 customers. Again, the key to your success is the VIP customer. And we don't need to talk about e-commerce. I mean, look what's going on with it. 2010, we were at these are U.S. figures only, by the way. $167 billion in the U.S. 2010. 2017, they're predicting it'll go to $434 billion just in the U.S. I mean, everybody's starting to buy online now, and everybody's starting to buy with their smartphones. And we truly have the strongest product the consumer's ever seen. So how do you build your business? What do you do? The first thing you do is become a VIP customer. And you create your own story inside your cash organizer, which you can let it do all the talking for you. And of course, the more you use the product, and the product, of course, is the VIP membership, the stronger your story becomes. This is common sense. And of course, the stronger your story becomes, the more VIP customers you attract, because you just meet them at Starbucks. You meet them after church. You meet them at the soccer field, and you open up your tablet. You open up your laptop. You say, you got to see this. This is so cool. You don't sell them anything. You don't ask them to be a VIP customer. You don't ask them to do anything. You say, look at this. This is awesome. And they're like, wow, how are you doing that? And there you go. You say, oh, you know what? If you want to do this, I'll send you a link. And if you send them a link because you're the VIP customer, you are yourself. You've got access to that customer referral program. Number one, it's going to tie them to you. And number two, you're going to get the $20 referral fee, plus you're going to get 25% of the $99. You're going to earn $44.75 off of every VIP customer that you earn, that you bring to the table. And of course, the more you do this, the more customers you attract. And of course, the more attractive your business becomes to the serious entrepreneurs as they do this. Now, I've said during this presentation, and I absolutely believe it and I absolutely mean it, I do not want to do the typical network marketing. I don't want to do it. I want to build the partner program. Now, I'll say one other thing, and we're going to wrap this up, and I'm going to stop, and I'll turn off the recording, and we'll answer questions. I believe you will see all income records broken at Doobly. Because what I think is going to happen, and there's no question about it, you're going to have hundreds of people at Doobly. It's just a numbers game, guys. If the market wasn't wide open like it is right now, in other words, if it was 5 years down the road, I couldn't say this, but I'm here now, you're here now, and I can say this, and I can be absolutely confident that what I'm telling you. You're going to see hundreds of people at Doobly, hundreds of individuals at Doobly who are going to make over $1 million a month. Not because they're so smart, not because they're so talented, but because they happen to show up at the right place at the right time, and they did something about it. It's that simple. The only thing that I could see that could happen to stop that from happening is if something catastrophic happened to Doobly. And I don't anticipate anything happening to Doobly. Listen, all the things that should have killed Doobly have already happened. I mean, we're a 10-year-old company. We're not going anywhere. We've already been through the fire and back. I mean, I can't tell you all the potholes I've been through. I know Chris McPherson's on the call with us. I know Susan Barrow's on the call with us. We've all seen all this stuff. Manny's been on the call. Cherie. We've all seen we've been through. We've experienced the potholes. We've experienced the growing pains. And I'm not telling you that everything's going to be perfect. It is not going to be perfect. We'll have some hiccups. And you know what I do? I tell the nonprofits, you better expect a few hiccups. We're talking about software. And they're okay with that. They understand it. They appreciate me being honest. And I also tell them, if you don't market the bejesus out of this, it's going to fall flat on its face. They appreciate that, and they understand it. And I told them, I make sure I tell them, I don't want to sugarcoat this because I don't need to. All right, well, let's do this. And guys, listen, thanks for being on the call. If you've got any other questions that you would like to have answered the next time Alex comes on here, please don't hesitate to send those questions to me. And you know what? Let me do this. Let me, I'm just going to put my email down here real quick. Because I want to know if you've got some questions that you didn't feel like got answered, or you have some other questions you'd like to ask that we didn't even get into today. It's just Alan Breen at Doobly.com. And what I'll do is I'll forward these on to Alex before we do our next meeting. And let's see. Let me do this. I'll put it right here so you can see it better. Now look, if somebody else invited you on this call, don't ask me to sponsor you. I'm not going to do that. That's not right. You work with the person that invited you on the call. I'm putting this up so you can send me questions. That's all. Only reason I want it up. All right. Let me blow it back up and see. Okay. Oh. Okay, there it is. All right. So it's just alanbreen@doobly.com. All right. I'm turning this